or you can change manually this. Let us take an exercise on a reusable function. I want update order as my main script, but that update order requires create order. I want to make it create order as my reusable action. If I make it as a reusable action, how I can use the value? Let us take that as an example. I'll say exercise. So create update order is a main script. So to this main script, use login action as one reusable action and create order is another reusable action. Create order should generate order number and pass the order number to the action parameter. Use that parameter value inside the calling action. Here it is update order. Then log out from flight using reusable action. So this is my exercise. I like to do this now. Update order is my main script. To this main script, login action, create order should be part of a reusable action. So whoever wants to generate an order, they will use this reusable action. Action that creates the order number that needs to be passed on to the parameter, and that parameter I want to use it in my main action. That is my main aim of the reusable script. I go to QTP. Now I generate another reusable action called create order. I go to insert, call to new action. I make it as create order. Again, it is an independent action. So at the end of test, it's a reusable action. I create it in this way. I know this reusable action needs to store the order number. I create an output parameter, create order, action properties, parameters, create order, action properties, parameters. Inside this parameter, I am creating now AC underscore O number. This is my parameter created as an output parameter because this parameter needs to store the value of the called action. I am going to record. I open the flight because my base state for create order is application is supposed to be in an open mode. I am opening the application. I now record into this create order 12, 12, 13. So in this create order, I am not supposed to use reusable action login because create order itself is a reusable action. In this reusable action, avoid calling again the action login screen. Now 137 is the order number. I want this 137 to be retrieved, stored, and this value needs to be used in my main script. So I go to insert. To insert the value, I can use output value. Last time we used, I will now use step generator. While recording itself, I can do that. Step generator, which object you want to work with. I have selected the step generator now. Which object I need to work with? I choose the object icon. I am coming to the test object selection window. In this object, I have not recorded that object. I use the hand symbol. Place the hand symbol on order number object. Order number is available win edit object. Choose the property operation. What operation I like to do? I like to retrieve visible text. Okay. Now, where you want to store the value? I don't want to store the value in the variable. I want to store it in the parameter. Specify parameter for output. I click on that icon. In that icon, I choose the output type test action parameter AC underscore O underscore O number. Only output parameters are listed here. I have done OK. To remind, after the step generator, instead of variable assigning, I choose output parameter. Specify parameter for output icon. Once I specify it, I choose the output type. Available output types are data table, environment, all are global in nature. Then I have a test action output parameter. Since we have created an output parameter, you are able to see here test or action parameter. Inside that test or action, you have the parameter that we created. I say OK, it is configured now. I finalize the script, done. Then I clear the order, the base state. I stop my recording. We know that insert order, after insertion it takes some time to generate the order number. I use still wait for us to visualize that order number, and then it retrieves that order number, puts it onto the parameter. I have done my scripting. Now create order is ready with retrieval of order number and stored the value inside the parameter. In our previous session, we have seen how to use that output parameter inside the action parameter of another action within the same script. We created 3 actions. One action, create order, update order, multiple order. Now what we are trying to do is, the create order is in one script called reusable script. We want to use the value in another script in another action. How to do it is what we are trying to say. Here now it is equivalent to outputting the parameter. I open that another script, new script. This new script we call it as exercise 3, fine. I will rename the action properties. Remove the reusable action because it is not a reusable action for us. I say update order. It's an independent action. This update order I want to now use as per my requirement exercise. I need to use a reusable action called login. I say open flight. From this flight I choose login, that is my first action. This login, by default you can see that he is landing onto the login flight, which is an external action. You need to move back to the main script, that is update order. Do you want to pass the value to the login? I say yes. If I want to pass, I can pass any value, say QTP online. I am passing this value. Login is done. I now like to create the order. I choose call to existing action again. I choose the flight again. This is my reusable action stored reusable action script. I now choose create order, and this create order is my next step, and I know this create order will create the order and it has the value as a parameter, and that parameter I will explain how to retrieve it. Next is I need to update the order. So I record now, record. I'm update order script, I'm recording now. Click on open window. Once you open the window, order number, I give say 137. Okay. I'm changing the value of tickets. That is my some change I have to do. I click on update order. I now save this script, clear that base state, then stop it. I finish my create order. My next job is call my logout action, insert, call to existing action. I go to the again flight. In this flight, I now call the logout action. This is to make the script started with login, so I end with logout. So this is how the update order script looks like. First two actions are reusable action, and then my main script, and then my logout. Now this main script uses order number 137, which is a hard-coded value. We like this to be used the order number that is created by create order. I'll go back to my class notes for better clarity. In this function, if you see a function, we have a function like this. Assume that we have a function. This function is create order and it has a parameter O number. This is my n function. I want now this function to be used or called in my main script. Say main script is below create order. I am now giving a variable of x. So message box x. So what will be the content of the x? So here order number equal to generate script generates order number and assigns to this variable. Say here I call it as a variable, there we are using it as a parameter. In yesterday's, that is function library, when we taken the VB scripting, when we put by ref, when I use the same value here, we have seen that this order number is assigned back to this, and this in turn uses that value here. We have seen this in our function library session. Same concept, that now the x is acting as an output parameter. Since it is an output parameter, value of O number assigns back inside this x. I will try to give the yesterday's example here. Function ABC and a comma b comma c. Now n function. This is what we have created. C equal to a into b. This is what the multiply function we have seen. ABC is now calling with 10 comma 10 comma d. Now in this example, A takes the value inside the function as 10. B takes the value inside the function as 10. C outputs the value as product of A and B and passes the value to D parameter. This we never said function that it has to pass the value to D, But since it is the third parameter being an output parameter inside the function, and C passes the value back to D. This is what we have seen it under functions and libraries. Here I am in QTP, it works in the same way. Create order, I have already created a parameter, and that parameter now I call it as variable O number. This variable now assigned with the order number, and that order number I am using it over here. It is so simple now. One script generating the value, I am using the value in another script without much of an effort. That is why QTP is so rugged and so flexible for preparation of the scripts, and number of scripts you can prepare in a day you cannot compare when you compare with the other automation tools. So I run the script now. Watch how the values are being passed. Whatever we are seeing, these are all under reusable action parameter. First, QTP online, I am passing the value as an input parameter. It logs in. Once it logs in, I go to the create order sub action, that is another action, reusable action. Create order generates the order number and passes that order number back to the script. You can see the order number that it generates, and we can see whether the same order is being updated. Now it is on to the insert order. He is inserting the order, and order number generated is 138. That 138 is now passed back to the output parameter AC underscore O underscore number. When the calling script, I am passing it as a variable, and that variable now updating this order number 138. You might have noticed now 138 is passed back, it's updating the order. When I recorded, it was 137. Now it is updating 138. If I run the script again, it will update 139. This is the way output parameter is used. This is the purpose of action parameter as a whole, how it is used as an input parameter and output parameter, how it is really called in the main actions. We have seen those. This is an example of reusable action with parameter.